In AoE4, the Holy Roman Empire civilization spans the years 936 until 1517 CE. The Holy Roman Empire was a political entity in Europe that developed during the early Middle Ages and continued until its dissolution in 1806 during the Napoleonic Wars. Its history lies in the heart of the European experience, and it included present-day Germany, Austria, Belgium, Czech Republic, France, Italy, Denmark, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Poland, and Switzerland. Until the 12th century, it was the most powerful monarchy in Europe. The empire reached its apex of territorial expansion and power in mid-13th century, but this overexpansion also led to partial collapse. More than 3 centuries after the fall of the ancient Western Roman Empire in 476, Charles Magno, or Karl der Grosse, was crowned the first Holy Roman Emperor by Pope Leo III on Christmas Day 800 CE. The partition of his realm in 843 marks the birth of Germany, France, and Italy. In 962, Otto I was crowned King of Germany by Pope John XII as the successor of Charles Magno. That's around the time that this civilization is represented in the game. In the early ages in the game, the civilization speaks some kind of early German language, but it evolves into a more modern German by the Imperial Age. The empire actually lacked a fixed title, but it was referred to as Imperial, even during the long periods of time that it was governed by a king rather than an emperor. The Latin term Imperium was gradually displaced by the German Reich from the 13th century. The German word Reich stands for rich, realm, or empire. The holy element was essential to the empire's primary purpose in providing a stable political order for all Christians. The emperor was like a guardian of the Pope, the head of a universal Christian church. The fact that the HRE relied so deeply in captured relics and even get a bonus from them comes from the principle of the church owning most of the relics and pieces of art at the time. I mean, come on, people would literally give everything they had for a ticket to heaven. Prelates are unique units to HRE and play an important role in the gameplay. These units can be produced from town centers, monasteries, and the Landmarks Palace of Swabia, and apart from the usual tasks of other religious units in the game, the prelates can inspire units nearby. They can do that due to their holy inspiration ability, and inspired villagers gather 40% faster. And after researching the inspired warriors' benediction and devoutness technologies when inspired, military units get +1 armor and 15% more damage. Villagers build buildings 15% faster and gather an additional 10% faster. In real life, prelates were high-rank members of the church, and it's really nice to see the unit changing through the ages. They start as simple monks carrying wood staffs and have tonsured hair, and in the end they are carrying a very fancy staff and even wearing a capa magna. To go to the Feudal Age, you can build the Aachen Chapel or the Meinwerk Palace. The Aachen Chapel is a religious landmark that inspires units in a large radius so long as a prelate is garrisoned. This landmark is based on the Prelate Chapel, located in Aachen, Germany, which was part of the Charles Magno Palace of Aachen. Most of the palace was built in 790s but no longer exists. The chapel was preserved and now forms the central part of the Aachen Cathedral. The emperor chose this location due to its rich forests, hot springs, and strategic location. With this palace under construction, the capital of the Holy Roman Empire moved from Rome to Aachen in 800 CE. Now you're probably thinking, but this is too different, this has nothing to do with how it looks like today, right? Well, that's because it didn't look like today back then. This is how it looked like before, and I would say it fits perfectly. They only took the part of this small chapel, removing everything that you see around it. It's exactly the same. So yeah, I think this is for sure the Aachen Chapel. The Meinwerk Palace landmark works as a blacksmith with technologies 40% cheaper, and they are researched 40% faster as well. This landmark is probably based on the Abtinghof monastery, constructed after the Bishop Meinwerk took office in 1009. Located in Paderborn, it was destroyed during World War II and rebuilt a bit differently. This monastery was one of the largest and most important monastery in the region. In 1036, the Bishop Meinwerk was buried in the crypt there. To go to the Castle Age, you can build the Burgrave Palace or the Regnitz Cathedral. The Burgrave Palace is a military landmark that acts as a barracks that produces infantry 400% faster. This landmark was based on the Nuremberg Castle located in Nuremberg, Bavaria. The castle, together with the city walls, is considered to be one of Europe's most formidable medieval fortifications. It represented the power and importance of the Holy Roman Empire and the role of the imperial city of Nuremberg. All German kings and emperors stayed in the castle, and it was continuously expanded throughout the centuries. During the World War II, it played an important role for the Nazi Party for meetings and conventions, and because of that, a large part of the castle was destroyed. The landmark's name comes from the German word Burggraf, which was a title for the ruler of a castle, and the Burggrafschaft or Burgraviate of Nuremberg was a state of the Holy Roman Empire from the 12th to the 15th centuries. Now, the Regnitz Cathedral is a landmark that generates 100% more gold from relics placed within any building. This landmark is based on the Bamberger Dome or Bamberg Cathedral located in Bamberg, Germany. Its construction began in 1002 CE. The cathedral burned down twice, once in 1081 and again in 1185. It was of course rebuilt and expanded. The final version was completed in the 13th century with the four imposing 81-meter-tall towers. The cathedral contains many works of art, including the marble tomb of the founder and his wife, and an equestrian statue possibly depicting the Hungarian king Stephen I. In the Castle Age, you also get access to another unique unit, that's the Landsknecht. This unit has massive attack power, but no armor. The Landsknecht were mercenaries, foot soldiers that formed the bulk of the Holy Roman Empire's imperial army from the late 14th to the early 16th centuries. The word Landsknecht combines land and Knecht, meaning servant of the land. They used a large two-handed sword called Zweihänder in German and a small sword for close combat.
Wir schlucken Staub beim Wandern, der Säckel hängt uns hohl. Der Kaiser schluckt ganz Flandern, bekommt's ihm ewig wohl. Denkt beim Länderschmause, wie die Welt erhöht. Mir wohnt ein Lieb zu Hause, das weite Wändig stört. Die Trommel, der Mann, hei, Rigiran, frisch voran, Landsknecht voran.
Fun fact time! There is a card game called Landsknecht after the soldiers. And fun fact 2, the diary of the Landsknecht Peter Hagendorf was found in 1988, where he wrote for 25 years about his life as a Landsknecht. In 192 pages, he writes about a journey of more than 20,000 kilometers across Europe, filled with battles in Italy, German states, France, and Netherlands. It's very interesting, and you can find this diary online if you want to. I think it's funny to imagine that a diary that you write today might be found in 400 years from now and be used to bring insights in how people used to live. I guess you have no rights to privacy if you're dead for more than 400 years. Anyway, to go to the Imperial age, you can build the Elzbach Palace or the Palace of Swabia. The Elzbach Palace is a defensive landmark that acts as a keep with 50% more HP and decreases damage taken by friendly buildings within its influence by 33%. This landmark is based on the Elst castle located between Koblenz and Trier in Germany. The castle is located in a strategically important position to protect a trade route that linked the Moselle River with the Eifel and fertile Maifeld, historically one of the most important trade routes in the German Empire. This ginormous castle started as a simple hall and a few palisades. Several hundred years later, the keep was built, and by 1157, it was a big part in the Holy Roman Empire under Frederick Barbarossa. In 1268, the descendants of Barbarossa divided the castle in equal parts and continued building it for the next 500 years, but mainly upwards, because the space on that stone was kinda limited. In German, when a castle is owned by a joint of heirs, it's called Ganebenburg. In 1815, the Counts of Elz-Kempenich became the sole owners, and they are until today. Now, the Palace of Swabia is an economic landmark. It acts as a town center, producing villagers 200% faster and 66% cheaper. This landmark is based on the Hohenzollern Castle, of course a very early version of it. The first version, built in the 11th century, was completely destroyed in 1423 after a 10-month siege. The castle was rebuilt twice and served as a refuge for the Catholic Swabians, including during the 30 Years' War. But the current imposing structure was built only in 1850 by King Friedrich Wilhelm IV, and it's an expression of the romantic spirit of the time and embodies the then ideal of a medieval knight's castle. The HRE wonder is called the Great Palace of Landsberg, and it's based on the Forstenstein Castle in Austria, which at the time was part of the Holy Roman Empire. The construction of this castle began in the 15th century. The big tower was known as the Black Tower, and originally its exterior was lined with black rocks. The tower has a deep pit that was used as a prison cell for those condemned to death. To be honest, I don't really understand why the developers chose this castle as a wonder. I mean, in the 17th century, this castle turned into a treasure vault, and it was holding very valuable weapons, exotic animals, archives, and other pieces of art, but 17th century. But in the game, the civilization is represented until 1517. And there's not really anything special, at least I could not find anything special about this castle until then. It was just a defensive castle, it could act as a keep in the game then. And until 1622, the castle also didn't undergo any majestic or significant structural change. So in my opinion, for example, the castle of Neuschwanstein or Schwerin would be a better choice, because they are more beautiful, just simply more beautiful. Germany has so many beautiful castles and palaces, and to be honest, even the ones they chose, they could have been better designed. In the game they are so rough and chunky, and it misses this kind of romantic or gothic architecture style that many of these landmarks have display in real life. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. And I almost forgot, here's the disclaimer: none of this information was confirmed or denied by any developer from the Age of Empires 4. It's all based on information and knowledge I gather from the internet, so please take it with a grain of salt. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you guys in the next one. Bye!